I get it. You've walked into class on the first day, and you learn that you have a research project. 10, maybe 20 pages on one subject. And that can be intimidating. Especially if this is your first year in college. But you get to decide how to react to that. Lots of people respond with, let's be honest, procrastination. Then they commit the ultimate rookie mistake, so common in high school. They write their paper from beginning to end. Worst case scenario, this is all done in one night. I'm Dr. J, and I want to give you an alternative to that. I'm going to walk with you step by step through the research process, and this video is meant to help you through that. But before we begin, let's talk a little bit about what the research process actually is. A research project is a summary of an experience. It's your discovery. You're going to collect information from other scholars, then engage in the evidence we use to create knowledge itself. Then you will communicate what you have learned to others. The paper you write is just the last step of that research process. Let's go back to that paper I mentioned before, the one written from beginning to end. When your professor goes to read the paper, he or she will encounter the different parts of your paper in this order. First, I'm going to encounter the introduction. This is the first paragraph where you frame your research. Next, I will read your claim, or the point you want to make at the end of the paper. After, you'll give me a literature review. You'll tell me what others have to say about your research question. Next, you'll present an argument that leads me to your claim. You'll walk me through the way you got to your conclusion. About this time, I'm going to notice your writing style. Did you spend enough time editing? I'll then encounter the evidence you use to support your claim. Is that evidence convincing and authoritative? Next, I will notice how you flow from one point to the next. Does your paper have a logical structure that helps me understand your claim? Then, you're going to show me how you interpreted your evidence and lead me to its implications. You'll show me that you can think critically and understand the nuance presented by that claim. Finally, you'll present your complete claim in a conclusion. This is the point you're making now that all your evidence is on the table. A paper that has been rushed often has a vague claim with a broad scope, a meandering argument, and evidence that doesn't quite fit each point being made. I can tell this paper missed an important step in the rush to complete the assignment. You'll understand why this is if I compare the parts of a research paper to the stages of a research process. Now, any research paper has 3 important but overlapping parts to it that correspond to 3 skills you're going to learn during the research process itself. And these are the skills that are so central and important to any undergraduate education. These parts are the ability to gather pertinent information on a topic, thinking critically about the creation of knowledge, and the ability to communicate complex ideas to others, exploring your topic, engaging with evidence, and editing your summary. Let's go into these phases in a little more detail. For example, during the exploring phase, you'll gather primary and secondary sources on your chosen topic. This means narrowing the topic down into an argument you want to make. This is where you create a literature review, gather supporting evidence, and formulate an argument. During the engaging phase, you're going to take a position on that argument that you've been exploring, critically evaluate that position, your evidence, and write out your conclusion. Finally, once you know what you want to say, you'll express the experience you've had during this process in a way that makes it easy for others to follow. You'll frame your research in an introduction, create a logical flow to your paper, and edit for clarity and style. Now the parts of the paper have been reordered to match when they are created. You can see what stage gets skipped when a paper is written from beginning to end. This student is missing that essential connection between understanding the research question and thinking critically about the subject. Even if that paper has been beautifully written, if it's been edited for clarity and style, and it's joyous to read, that's still missing that really essential skill that's part of the research process that we want you to get. But don't worry, I'll walk with you from step by step and stage by stage through this process. And not only help you to get a good paper by the end, hopefully, right? But also to help you find that joy in a mystery, the ability to find something new and communicate that to other people. That's what I'm going to help you do. So hopefully I see you in the next video. And until then, be truthful and be kind.